In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on February 11, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. As the NBA season continues, another exciting night of basketball is on the horizon, with the All-Star Game fast approaching on Tuesday, February 11th. The spotlight will be on the matchup between the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers, set to take place at the Wells Fargo Center. The Raptors have struggled this season, holding an overall record of 16-37, and their recent form has been particularly concerning, as they have lost 5 of their last 6 games. Similarly, the 76ers have faced their own challenges, also losing 5 of their last 6 contests, which has brought their overall record down to 20-32. Both teams currently find themselves outside the playoff picture, and as the second half of the season progresses, they will need to make significant strides to turn their fortunes around. The Raptors continue to deal with significant absences, as key players such as R.J. Barrett, Brandon Ingram, and Jakob Poeltl remain sidelined due to injuries. On the other hand, the 76ers have ruled out Kyle Lowry for this game, and Joel Embiid's status is listed as questionable. Given the number of crucial players missing from both rosters, it is difficult to place confidence in either team at the moment. Despite being the home team, the 76ers have opened as favorites, which is not surprising, but their recent performances have been lackluster even as some players have returned from injury. The Raptors, despite their struggles to secure wins, have consistently managed to cover the spread, which stands out as one of the few bright spots in their season. Toronto boasts an impressive 21-8-1 record against the spread as single-digit underdogs this year. In contrast, the 76ers have struggled in this regard, posting a 6-15 record against the spread when favored. Philadelphia has had difficulty closing out games, while the Raptors have shown the ability to keep games competitive, though they often lack the finishing touch to secure narrow victories. Although the 76ers are gradually getting healthier, which may lead to increased respect in the betting market, their recent performances do not inspire confidence. The team has been underperforming, as evidenced by their losses in 5 of their last 6 games, including 3 of their last 4 as favorites. Meanwhile, the Raptors have shown improvement since some of their rotation players returned from injury, and they hold a solid 31-21-1 record against the spread this season. In contrast, the 76ers have covered the spread only 38.4% of the time, making them the 3rd worst team in the NBA in this category, trailing only the Kings and Suns. While I am not necessarily endorsing the struggling Raptors, this pick is more a reflection of the fact that the 76ers do not deserve to be such heavy favorites given their recent form. The 76ers have struggled to win games outright, let alone by a significant margin. This game is likely to be closely contested, with both teams battling inconsistency. The Raptors have a history of keeping games tight, and given the current state of both squads, this matchup should be no different. So the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. When it comes to the total points, the under has been a common outcome in games where the 76ers are home favorites, with a record of 7-3-1 this season. Philadelphia ranks 28th in the NBA in pace and averages 110 points per game at home. With Jared McCain out for the season, Joel Embiid's status in question, and Paul George dealing with a left finger injury, the 76ers' offensive firepower is significantly diminished. Similarly, the Raptors will be without R.J. Barrett and Jakob Poeltl, further weakening their offensive capabilities. Both teams are already below average offensive units, struggling to score consistently both at the rim and from beyond the arc. The total has been evenly split in games involving the Raptors this season, with a record of 26-26-1. The under has been slightly more common in their road games, with a 14-11 record. For the 76ers, the over has been slightly more frequent in home games, with a 14-11 record. However, given the inconsistent performances from both teams recently, a low-scoring game seems likely. The Raptors rank 16th in pace, while the 76ers are the slowest team in the league, further supporting the expectation of a defensive battle. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. New York Knicks versus Indiana Pacers. An exciting Eastern Conference showdown is set to take place on the hardwood in the Hoosier State as the New York Knicks face off against the Indiana Pacers on Tuesday night. The Knicks are coming off a tough 131-104 loss to the Celtics at home in their most recent game on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Pacers suffered a narrow 124-117 defeat on the road against the Lakers on Saturday, failing to cover as 4.5-point favorites. Historically, the Knicks hold a slight edge in the regular season series with a 101-96 record. However, the Pacers claimed a decisive 132-121 victory at home in their most recent matchup on November 10, 2024. Both teams are dealing with potential absences as the Knicks are monitoring Anunoby, who is listed as questionable for this game. On the other side, the Pacers have Miles Turner also marked as questionable. The Knicks had been on an impressive run before their blowout loss to the Celtics, while the Pacers were one of the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference prior to their close defeat against the Lakers. A compelling argument can be made for either team, as both the Knicks and Pacers have been playing strong basketball over the past month. The Indiana Pacers, in particular, have been the league's best team since January, and the potential return of Miles Turner would provide a significant boost. Additionally, the home team has dominated this matchup, winning 8 of the last 9 games between these two teams. The Pacers have been especially strong at home, with only 7 of their 22 losses occurring on their home court. The rivalry between the Pacers and Knicks has intensified, especially after their playoff clash last year, adding another layer of intrigue to this contest. It's difficult to separate these two teams at the moment, which explains the close betting line. However, the Pacers have been the more consistent and reliable team over the past month, making them a solid value pick as slight underdogs at home. This game is expected to be fiercely competitive, but the Pacers have a slight edge given the home court advantage, which has proven decisive in the majority of recent matchups. So the Indiana Pacers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have been strong performers in terms of scoring this season, with the Knicks posting a 30-22 record to the over and the Pacers recording a 28-21-2 mark in favor of the over. New York enters this game having hit the over in 4 consecutive games and 6 of their last 7 outings. Despite ranking 26th in tempo with an average of 97 possessions per game this season, the Knicks have been involved in high-scoring contests. Indiana, on the other hand, has gone over the total in their last 2 games and 6 of their last 8 overall. The Pacers rank 8th in tempo, averaging 99.7 possessions per game. The over has hit in both meetings between these teams this season, with the games averaging a combined 236 points. Both teams are averaging over 88 field goal attempts per game, and while the Knicks rank 28th in possessions per game, the Pacers rank 9th. Offensively, these teams are among the best in the league, with the Knicks ranking 3rd and the Pacers ranking 4th in shooting efficiency. Indiana has scored 119 points or more in 4 of their last 6 games, while New York has reached 121 points or more in 5 of their last 7. The over has gone 6-4 in the last 10 meetings between these two teams. 3 of the last 4 matchups have exceeded the projected total, and with both teams consistently putting up high point totals recently, this game is likely to follow the same trend. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Pistons versus Chicago Bulls. The NBA presents an intriguing Eastern Conference matchup on Tuesday as the Detroit Pistons take on the Chicago Bulls. This game marks the 3rd meeting between these two teams this season, with each squad having secured a victory in their previous encounters. The Bulls claimed the first game, while the Pistons bounced back to win the second. Both of those matchups took place in Detroit, but Tuesday's game will shift to the United Center in Chicago. Notably, the Pistons emerged victorious in their most recent visit to the Windy City, adding an extra layer of intrigue to this contest. The Pistons enter this game slightly shorthanded, as Jaden Ivey remains sidelined. On the other hand, the Bulls continue to deal with absences, as Lonzo Ball and Adama Sanogo have once again been ruled out. Chicago's defensive struggles have been glaring recently, as they have allowed more than 120 points in 4 consecutive games and in 6 of their last 7. Their performance against the spread has also been lackluster, with a 2-4-0 record in their past 6 games. In contrast, the Pistons have been more consistent, going 4-2-0 0 against the spread in their last 6 contests. The most recent meeting between these teams on February 2nd ended in a 127-119 victory for Detroit, with the Pistons covering the spread. Chicago's home court advantage has been virtually non-existent this season, as they have struggled to perform at the United Center. Meanwhile, the Pistons have been a .500 team on the road, showcasing their ability to compete away from home. In their 2 head-to-head matchups this season, Detroit has outperformed Chicago in shooting efficiency and has maintained a significant edge in limiting turnovers. The Pistons' most recent victory over the Bulls on February 2nd was a convincing 127-119 win in Detroit. Although Lonzo Ball participated in that game, he will be absent for this rematch. Additionally, the Bulls are now without Zach LaVine, who was traded earlier in the season. Given these circumstances, it's difficult to envision Chicago keeping this game competitive. This matchup has the potential to be a high-scoring affair, but when the game reaches its critical moments, the Pistons' defense is likely to make the difference. Surprisingly, Detroit has been one of the better defensive teams in the NBA this season, ranking 12th in defensive efficiency by allowing just 111 points per 100 possessions. Their ability to get stops when it matters most could prove decisive in this contest. The Chicago Bulls are mired in a rough stretch with a 3-6 record both against the spread and straight up in their last 10 games. Their struggles have been particularly pronounced at home, where they have suffered 17 losses this season. While the Detroit Pistons may not be as dominant as they were last year, they entered this game with momentum, having secured back-to-back wins. Their most recent victory over the Bulls, an 8-point win just a week ago, further strengthens their case. In my view, Chicago lacks the offensive firepower necessary to keep up with Detroit in this matchup. Although the Bulls are capable of pulling off an upset at home, the Pistons are the clear favorites heading into this game. Detroit's recent form and momentum give them a significant edge, and they should be able to handle business as short favorites. Cade Cunningham, who recorded a triple-double in his last game, is expected to play a pivotal role once again. The betting line for this game is reasonable, and there appears to be a noticeable gap in talent and expectations between these two teams. If the Pistons are serious about making a playoff push, they must capitalize on opportunities like this. So the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Defense has been a glaring weakness for the Bulls throughout the season. They rank 25th in the league in defensive efficiency, allowing 113.5 points per 100 possessions. In terms of raw points allowed per game, they are even worse, sitting at 29th with an average of 120 points conceded. Their recent performances have done little to inspire confidence, as they have allowed at least 124 points in each of their last 4 games. Both teams prefer to play at a fast pace, which could contribute to a high-scoring game. The Bulls rank 3rd in the league in pace, averaging 105.4 possessions per game, while the Pistons are more moderate in this category, ranking 17th with 100.8 possessions per game. Their young and athletic roster is well suited to push the tempo and exploit Chicago's porous defense. The Bulls have averaged 120 points against the Pistons this season, which is a positive sign for their offense. However, their defense remains a major concern, as they allow the 2nd most points per game in the NBA. Chicago has allowed 4 consecutive opponents to score more than 120 points, and all of those games went over the total. The Bulls' strategy of pushing the pace and neglecting defense plays right into the Pistons' strengths. Detroit has allowed more than 120 points in 2 of their last 3 road games, but they have also struggled to contain Chicago's 3-point shooting, which has been effective at a 42.9% clip this season. Given these factors, this game is likely to mirror their previous meeting a couple of weeks ago, with both teams combining for a high score. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Memphis Grizzlies versus Phoenix Suns. The Memphis Grizzlies, who currently hold a strong record of 35 wins and 17 losses, are set to face off against the Phoenix Suns, who stand at 26 wins and 26 losses for the 2nd time this season. The Grizzlies are entering this matchup following a loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, while the Suns are coming off a defeat at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. In their previous encounter this season, the Grizzlies emerged victorious with a 117-112 win over the Suns as 5.5-point road underdogs on New Year's Eve. This victory showcased Memphis' ability to compete and secure wins even when not favored. The Grizzlies are currently dealing with some roster challenges, as Johnny Davis and Cam Spencer remain sidelined. On the other hand, the Suns will be without Bradley Beal, and Vasilij Micic is listed as questionable for this game. These absences could impact the depth and performance of both teams. There is no disgrace in the Grizzlies' recent loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are considered one of the top teams in the NBA. This loss marked only their second defeat in their last 12 games. Memphis has been remarkably consistent against the spread, covering in 10 of their last 14 outings. With such strong form, they head to Phoenix to face a Suns team that has been struggling to maintain stability. In their first meeting this season, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane both had standout performances, each scoring over 30 points, while Ja Morant was absent. When Morant plays, the Grizzlies have a solid 21-10 straight-up record this season, which is why Memphis is favored by 4 points in this matchup. The Suns have been on a downward trajectory for some time now. The recent trade deadline only added to their woes, as their star player Kevin Durant was involved in trade discussions. Bradley Beal, who has been discontent throughout the season, remains sidelined, and it's no secret that the team has attempted to trade him multiple times. His absence means that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker will need to shoulder the scoring responsibilities. Defensively, the Suns are in a precarious position, as their last 3 opponents have averaged 62.7 rebounds per game. Facing an all-star caliber player like Jaren Jackson Jr. could pose significant challenges for them. Memphis has been dominant in recent matchups against Phoenix, boasting a 7-3 record against the spread in their last 10 meetings. They have also covered in 5 of their last 6 visits to Phoenix. This season, the Grizzlies have been one of the most consistent teams in the NBA, with a 34-18 record against the spread, including an impressive 16-9 record on the road. The Grizzlies have quietly established themselves as one of the hottest teams in the league, riding a 4-game winning streak before their loss to the Thunder, who have been formidable opponents. In contrast, the Suns are stuck in another slump and will once again be without Beal, whose contributions off the bench are crucial. Phoenix's defensive struggles are evident, as they allow 117 points per 100 possessions, ranking 27th in the NBA, while scoring 116 points per 100 possessions, which ranks 8th. Even if Kevin Durant returns, the Suns will likely find it difficult to contain the Grizzlies' offensive firepower. The Suns rank 28th in the league in defensive rebound percentage at 73.1%, while Memphis is second in offensive rebound percentage at 29.9%. This disparity highlights the Grizzlies' aggressive play on both ends of the court. Phoenix has struggled against the spread recently, going 1-4 in their last 5 games overall and 1-5 in their last 6 home games against the Grizzlies. Meanwhile, Memphis has been strong against the spread, covering in 10 of their last 14 games. The Grizzlies have quietly become one of the top teams in the NBA, ranking 5th in offensive rating and 7th in defensive rating. With a healthy roster, Memphis is a well-balanced team that receives significant contributions from their bench and role players, positioning them as legitimate championship contenders. On the other hand, the Suns have had a rough start to February, and their struggles show no signs of abating. Their big 3 of Durant, Booker, and Beal have all been dealing with injuries, and the team is still searching for its identity. Beal is confirmed to be out for this game due to a toe injury, and the Suns' defensive woes continue to plague them, as opponents are consistently finding quality offensive opportunities. The Memphis Grizzlies have experienced 11 of their 17 losses on the road, which might give some hope to the Suns and their supporters. However, I have maintained throughout the season that the Suns are not a strong team, and I stand by that assessment. The Suns have the worst cover percentage in the NBA at 35.2%, and they will be without Beal for this game. Additionally, there are evident locker room issues following the failed attempt to trade Durant. While Durant has handled the situation diplomatically in interviews, it's clear that all is not well within the Suns organization. Given these factors, it's easier to trust the Grizzlies, who will be motivated to bounce back after a disappointing performance against the Thunder. With Ja Morant healthy and in the lineup, the Grizzlies possess too much offensive firepower for the Suns to handle. Memphis will likely dominate in the paint, either finishing at the rim or kicking out to open shooters, while the Suns will continue to struggle offensively. So the Memphis Grizzlies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Grizzlies play at a fast pace, which contrasts sharply with the Suns, who average 97.1 possessions per 48 minutes, ranking 24th in the league. Slowing down the Grizzlies will be a significant challenge for Phoenix. Both teams excel from beyond the arc, with the Grizzlies ranking 7th in the league in three-point percentage at 37.5%, and the Suns ranking 5th at 37.7%. The over has hit in 6 of the Suns' last 7 games overall and in 10 of the Grizzlies' last 14 games. Additionally, Additionally, each of the Grizzlies' last 5 road games has gone over the total. The Grizzlies are poised to score over 115 points in this game, given that the Suns rank 26th in defensive rating and have allowed 120 points or more in 6 of their last 7 games. Memphis leads the NBA in pace and field goals attempted per game, ensuring they will have plenty of possessions. On the other hand, the Suns are unlikely to have a strong offensive night, as the Grizzlies rank 7th in defensive rating. Phoenix will continue to rely heavily on their big three to score in isolation, a strategy that can win games but is not sustainable in the long run. While the Suns shoot better at home and Kevin Durant is expected to return after missing Saturday's game, Memphis is likely to have a big offensive performance, and the Suns will score just enough to push the game over the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.